Rougarou. Tommy joining us as he does on Mondays from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Coming to you with a condensed version today. A lot to get to, though, because it was a busy weekend in sports. First off, LSU Baseball, after being on such a high last week, after sweeping Mississippi State, they go on the road to Fayetteville, a big test. We know they get swept by Arkansas. And what does that mean for LSU? Coach Jay Johnson spoke with Tommy today at the press conference, so he'll have some insight on that. Also, Pelicans fans, we kind of knew this was going to happen. Pelicans lose by 11 last night to the Phoenix Suns. They were a 12-point dog. 12 points, depending on if you get where you got it. Tommy Chrysan was a winner, as he got it at 9.5 and took the Phoenix Suns to cover the 9.5, and they did. They had an 18, 19-point lead at halftime. Joel Davis on Sports Shorts Daily told you that the Pelicans were going to lose by 20. He looked right for a little while, and then the Pels made a third quarter charge and cut it a little bit. But that said, this wasn't a surprise. The Pelicans lost game one to Phoenix after everything they went through last week, playing those two emotional play-in games, having to go on the road with only one day off. And so that's fine. But how will they respond tomorrow, game two in Phoenix, being a 9.5-point dog again? How will they respond? That's the big question. We'll get into that and a whole lot more. TK, your takeaway on LSU baseball this weekend was what?
Well, they lost 3 games, and I guess if you want to really try to find silver lining, they 3-3 in the last 2 road trips. Okay, because they beat State 3, then they lose to Arkansas. And other than Friday night when they were just dominated, and Jay Johnson said that today. I was at his presser. They just got dominated at the plate Friday night. But the other 2 games they were basically in, and they just weren't able to get it done, and ended up losing all 3 games to a very good Arkansas team in front of a lot of people. I mean, no question about that. And we have lost Ronnie. We're going to see if we can get him back real quick. Again, I'm at Court Street Cafe. There we go. You're back. But no, so they got totally dominated on Friday night. Other than that, them 2 games, Mikael Hilliard did another wonderful job, gave them a chance to win. And like he's been asked to do, he's now the Friday night guy. Jay Johnson talked about that today. And then on Saturday, they shook back in, had a chance to win. Very unfortunate situation with Braden Jobert. We'll talk about that in just a minute or two. But the Tigers lose all 3 to Arkansas. Didn't have the midweek game last week. It was postponed to be rescheduled against Lamar from the Southland Conference. And as I said, if you back it up, they took 3 from Mississippi State, lose 3 to Arkansas, 3-3 on the road. I guess that's trying to find a silver lining. Not everybody would agree with that. Here's a nice comment from Chance. LSU women's golf first SEC title in 30 years. I did actually watch some of that, Chance, and that was pretty good stuff right there. So anyway, all right, we got Ronnie back. But Ronnie, I want to get into the Braden. You got me, Ronnie? Can you hear? I got Ronnie. I don't know if he can hear me. Ronnie, give me a little yes if you can hear me. All right, we're working on it. Appreciate everybody. You got me yet, Ronnie? Okay, whoa, we got a.
I do.
Okay, let's talk about the Braden Jobert thing. All right. First off, I was at the press conference today, and I asked Jay Johnson about it. Number one, the home plate umpire did that same thing at Florida 2 weeks ago, called a kid out for not getting in the box. So Jay Johnson said he was aware of that. He kind of saw what was happening, and he came up out of the dugout. He wanted to call a timeout, but then he didn't see the third base coming in to enforce the rule. Now, here's the rule, similar to the pitching rule. You got 20 seconds. Here's what Jay Johnson doesn't like, and I agree with him 100%. The pitching rule, the pitcher gets a warning. But with the batter's rule, there's no rule that says the batter has to get a warning like there is with the pitcher. Jay thinks that should be changed, and I agree with him on that. Now, here's a whole other thing. As Ben McDonald said in a tweet that was very profound, those umpires have to have a feel for the game right there. I mean, you got 2 guys on. You got the third game of a series. You got a tight game. Look the other way, for 2-3 seconds. Now, Jobert put his foot in the box, took it out, and when he took it out the second time is when they made the call. But you got to have a feel for the game. If it's 12-0, you tell the batter, get in the box or I'm going to call you out. But, in a game like that, I think the ump should have had some feel. They didn't. Jay Johnson would like to see him make it where the batter gets a warning, just like the pitcher does. And I did ask him if he had heard anything since the game from the SEC office about that call. He said he did not.
Two things. One, Jay Johnson, how does he not lose his shit and just go crazy in that situation? Okay, you have to. You have to get thrown out of the game. You got to go nuts. Okay, that I have a problem with. The other thing is that, yeah, it's a ridiculous rule. And a home plate umpire, it's just like any kind of rule, whether it's in the NBA and it's a foul-in situation or balk, you always give the guy away. Hey, guys, let's go. Let's pick up the pace. As a home plate umpire, let's go. 27, get in the box. I mean, that's all you got to say is a number. Hey, let's go. Pick it up. Hey, don't stop stepping out of the box. You just have to communicate. You have to just communicate. It's not hard. Like, this is ridiculous that somebody comes running in and calls him out in that situation. Unless Joe Bear said the magic words, the old Bull Durham magic words, and called him a you-know-what. Like, it's absurd. Oh, by the way, in the pitchers, they have a clock. There's a clock. There's a shot clock out in the outfield where the catcher can see, the clock that's counting down. There's no clock for the hitter, so you get a double whammy. There's no clock for the hitter. I mean, it's absurd that call was made. But I cannot believe that whether it's Jay or he says to one of his coaches, go get tossed. Like, somebody has to throw balls and helmets on the field and lose their mind.
I agree completely. It's like in the basketball game when there's a crucial call with 14 seconds to go. The referee's got to let the guy blow a little steam and get away from you. Well, again, it's a feel for the game, and that was the words Ben McDonald used in his tweet that I saw. You got to have a feel for the game there. So, maybe the best thing that can happen is something happens about it going forward. But
by the way,
nonetheless,
I'm a giant fan of the rule, Tommy. Again, anything that speeds up the game of baseball, I'm a fan of. And so, within reason. And I think as a hitter, keep your damn foot in the box. You want to keep 1 foot in the box and take 1 foot out and look at the hit, get a signal or whatever, or adjust your batting gloves. That's fine. But yeah, I don't want you getting out of the box and taking 8 swings and adjusting your cup and your belt and your hat. Come on, guys, let's go. Keep it moving. So I'm a giant fan of the rule, but in that situation, unless you've warned Joe Bear numerous times, unless he called you a name, unless it's just something ridiculous, you cannot make that call in that situation and call him out. That's absurd.
Well, if he called you a name, you throw him out the game, and somebody comes to the plate with the same count. Okay, right. I mean, so they botched it. Okay, but he didn't say it exactly, but Jay Johnson kind of implied today that they knew this ump was like that, and he said something to Joe Bear like the inning before that, like you can't be taking all that much time,
right?
And he saw it happening. He was trying to he said he was doing this, trying to get Joe Bear to get in the box. Then he was going to call a timeout, but then the third base ump, which he was not looking at, came in and enforced the call. Okay, because he had the stopwatch or something. But you're right, double whammy, no pitch clock, no batter clock, and the person should be warned, like, hey, number whatever. 6, I think, is Joe Bear. If you don't get in, I will call you out. Then if he don't get in the next time, he made the call, not the umpire, okay? But, hey, it's water under the bridge. Well, they all got to learn from it.
LSU baseball, they're just doing what not great teams do, and that's just super inconsistent. Pitch and not hit not pitch, and field and not field. And so – here we are. They are what they are. 7-8 is their record halfway through the SEC. That means they've got to go 8-7 just to get to 500 on the backside. And 500 isn't going to get you a regional. And this was a team that is supposed to be hosting a regional in Baton Rouge this summer. And at the moment, unless they go on some torrid pace and they go 10-5, 10-5 gives them a chance. If you get to 17 wins in the SEC to host a regional, but it's not a lock even. So you got to go 10-5 to have a chance of hosting a regional. You got to win 2 out of 3 of every weekend you got left on average. And oh, by the way, one of those weekends is at Vanderbilt. So, this is interesting this year.
Well, and they got Missouri this weekend, but more importantly, it's a very important baseball game tomorrow night. Number 1, against a good Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajun team. Number 2, it'll be the final Wally Pontiff Jr. Foundation Classic. Ronnie, as you know, I was involved in the very first game 20 years ago, You've been involved. We know the Potter family very well. We knew Wally very well, and I'm hoping the box is packed tomorrow night. Could be an outstanding opponent. Louisiana Lafayette, who's 20-15, and they're coming off a win Sunday in conference play. So hopefully there's a lot of people out at the box tomorrow night for this game. 6:30 first pitch.
Yeah, this is a ticket you got to buy. It wasn't a part of your season ticket package. If you're an LSU season ticket holder, you got to buy this one separately. For 20 years, the Pana Foundation has done good things. They raised money. They had a golf tournament, a great golf tournament that had 2 flights and was completely packed. They did that for about 10 years or so, and then they kind of stopped doing that because it got to be a heavy lift and for the family. And mostly this is all just family that does this. So people have asked, why is it going away? The real reason is there's no baseball field in Louisiana anymore. The Zephyrs are gone. The Baby Cakes are gone. The stadium is still there, but it's now a rugby field. There's no baseball field. So that's the main reason that there's not a Wally Pontiff game moving forward. And then the second one is it's just time. They don't do the golf tournament anymore. It's run by the foundation. They had a foundation head who tragically passed away with COVID. There was a wonderful lady who helped a lot. And so just since then, they've kind of been a ship without its rudder. And so they decided, hey, one more. LSU's gracious enough to let them, have a home game that they don't need to let that be a foundation fundraiser. Obviously, LSU benefits financially from it, from concessions, and then they'll also get some money payout from the ticket sales as well. But this is the finale. I think 20 is a good number. They gave tons of money over the years to charities. Obviously, we know they donated to TAF for the museum, for the Louisiana, for the Wally Pontiff Museum inside Alex Box Stadium, which I recommend. So many people go to Alex Box Stadium and don't even know the museum is there. It's behind the third base dugout, the visitor dugout, down that corridor on the ground level. You need to go check out the Wally Pontiff Jr. Museum. It's fantastic. But a lot of great memories from this game. Most of those great memories have to do with doing the games on TV and having Nick Pontiff in the booth with us for an inning or two, or Wally Sr. coming by and telling stories and visiting for a year for an inning or two. Those are the ones I'll cherish the most. And on the baseball field, both teams need this win. The Raging Cajuns a little disappointed with where they're at this season. They're not clicking on all cylinders. Offensively, they've been struggling a little bit. They want to get a big win and get their fan base and their team energized. LSU just desperate to get a victory after getting swept over the weekend. So it'll be a good – I'm hoping it'll be a great crowd and over 8,000 hopefully in attendance for the game tomorrow night. We'll have the game on ESPN Plus on the app. I'll be doing it with Lynn Rollins, and it's going to be an honor to do the final one. You were there when the Lsu, the Southeastern Lions, took on LSU when Dan Canaveri was the head coach of Southeastern. What do you remember about that first Wally Pontiff game?
Well, I remember when Wally came to Dan because of their relationship, and then I was on the little committee that first year because I was the voice of the Lions and in charge of all their broadcast and stuff. And actually, the game was at Zephyr Field, and there was a huge crowd. I don't think the stadium was full, but I remember a huge crowd. And I remember the tribute video to Wally stopped everybody in their tracks, including me. Jim Hawthorne was calling the game for the Tigers in the booth next to me at that time. And it was a special night, a sad night, because it was so close to his passing. It was only I want to say 2 years after he passed when they did this first game at Zephyr Field. But the tailgating, I remember just being an unbelievable event. I remember we had a meeting a couple of days after, after the game. And that's when they said, hey, guys, this is going to be the first of many, many things and many great things that this foundation can do. And certainly that has been the case with this incredible run through the last 20 years. Yeah,
they played Southern Miss in a stretch for a long while. The Raging Cajuns, when Tony Robichaux was there, picked up after Southern Miss they dropped that series. Raging Cajun said, we'll play it every year if you want. And there's been some games against Southern. There's been games against Southeastern. There's been some filler games with rains and things like that. But anyway, a lot of great memories, great cause. And folks, still not too late. Go get your tickets. Go to LSUsports, .com, whatever. They can buy tickets through the regular LSU portal, but it'll be an add-on ticket that benefits the Wally Pontiff Jr. Foundation. Let's talk a little let's talk a little Pelicans. You were a winner. You told me you took the Phoenix Suns minus 9.5, so you covered your bet. The Suns won by 11. Made it a little interesting for you there in the fourth quarter. But what did you see from that game that troubles you for the Pelicans from a standpoint of, hey, Phoenix is number one seed for a reason. They're 1-3 against they're 3-1 against the Pelicans for a reason. Do the Pelicans have any chance of righting the ship here for game 2?
Well, everybody's picking the Suns in this series 4-1. A couple of people say 4-2. And I think the Pelicans are going to benefit from last night's game because here's why. Their whole goal was to split the 2 games in Phoenix and then they come back home. So I think they, especially that fourth quarter burst that they had, that may give them the confidence to, try to get in position in the fourth quarter again to win the game. Suns are very good. Chris Paul had a big fourth quarter, and the Pelicans battled and they competed. They just weren't able to get it done down the stretch.
I tell you what, Tommy, I'm hoping that the Pels can win 2 games in this series. I have zero expectation that the Pelicans are going to win this series. I think because this team is so young, if they can, they've garnered so much experience last week, winning those play-in games, those 2 play-in games, particularly on the road in Los Angeles when they came from behind, that this experience they're going to get in this first-round matchup against the number 1 seed hopefully will pay them dividends next year. This team isn't ready to win a championship this year. They don't have all the pieces necessary. But if they can have any sort of success, win a couple of games, make Phoenix sweat a little bit, play at home, win a couple games at home, take it on the road, maybe force a game 6, 7. That would be fantastic and bode well for next year.
Well, Chance makes the comment, which I put on the screen. The Pelicans already won, just making the playoffs. Hopefully they can get a win at home. So, but I don't want to settle for that. I mean, you got to try to win. And look, they're 9.5-point dogs again tomorrow night. I haven't decided yet. Might have to take them points. I mean, I got a feeling that the Pelicans may wake up a little bit. Because a lot of people thought they would get blown out last night, including me. That's why I laid the 9.5 and said, hey, it's going to be a rout. It'll be a 24-point game, and they'll cut it to 18 at the buzzer. That's what I kind of thought might happen. Okay, I got that one wrong. But anyway, so that's what we got. Hey, Ronnie, Craig Schiller made a comment, says, since you're doing a TV game tomorrow night, does that mean it's going to rain?
Seems like that's been the case the last couple of years. I have not looked at the weather. Is it supposed to rain tomorrow?
No, I don't think it is supposed to. We got a lot of rain last night, but I think we're good tomorrow. Yeah. Let's hope so. I want this Pond Foundation game to go off without any hitches.
I will be doing I've got a Parkview game coming up that you can watch on the Parkview stream. Actually, tomorrow, high school softball playoffs begin. In 2 weeks, high school baseball playoffs begin. So we'll have a lot of high school baseball and softball to tell you about when we get to the championships in a couple of weeks in Sulphur and elsewhere. But no, I'm curious what else she's going to do. Don't they have? I know they got the game. They got 1 or 2 games they've got to reschedule. For late.
LSU,
Lamar,
yeah, Lamar. That's it.
Lamar.
There was another game was moved from a Tuesday to a Wednesday. There was one that was moved from Tuesday to Wednesday. But they still got it in. So, but anyway,
that was Louisiana Tech. Yeah. I think that was okay. So so the Lamar game is, and I hope it is Lamar because I want to see Will Davis not be able to make the reschedule, and LSU ends up getting Southern or something just to fill a date. But anyway, as far as the Pels are concerned, look, show some signs of life here in game 2. I would buy the 0.5 point, Tommy, and take the Pelicans plus 10. I think they got a little fight in them. Probably got that first one under the belt, a little big-eyed on the road, after all the emotion and now they've probably settled in. They played better in the second half. I think the Pels can represent themselves well and cover the 9.5, 10 that you could probably get this week. And then, look, I am taking Joel Davis to the game on Sunday night. It's official.
Oh, wow. That's
Joel
amazing.
And I are going to the Pels game 4 Sunday night in the Blender. I'm going to have to take some medicine to prepare for that experience because if you've ever been around Joel for any sort of sporting event that he cares about, it is quite the ride. But we'll have some video, we'll have some pictures. We'll tell you all about it on next Monday on Sports Church Daily. But Joel and I will be going. Wish me well, Tommy.
I'm gonna be thinking about you, man. That's gonna be a tough assignment, and you're quite brave to do that. But hey, Joel does a lot to help Sports Church Radio and help everything we do, so it's all good. But I'll say this: I'm glad it's you and not me.
By the way, don't forget, go by Christian. I mean, no.
Do what?
I said Christian. Go by. I almost said Christian Street Furniture. Go by Wooden Haven Furniture Company on Government Street all week long. You go by Wooden Haven Furniture Company this week on Government Street. You tell them that Ronnie Rance and Sports Shorts Radio sent you over there, and they're going to give you 15% off. It's all week long. Go by Wooden Haven and tell them they had some good stuff. By the way, I went by there on Saturday. They got some really good stuff over at Wooden Haven. Lastly, before we get out of here, tell us about Court Street, TK.
Well, a couple things. Court Street Cafe, Port Allen, Monday through Saturday, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Tomorrow, the lunch special, chicken Alfredo. Got some roast beef Wednesday, the ribeye on Thursday, and fried fish on Friday. Court Street Cafe. Connect on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll always know what's happening. A couple other things. Don't forget the Zurich Classic, the PGA Tour event in New Orleans this week. Two-man team thing. And then also we've got Major League Baseball. We got LSU spring football Saturday at 1 o'clock. So Wednesday on Sports Church Daily, when we have a little bit more time, we'll get into more some of those other topics. Like and share this video. Let everybody know about it. That's your ticket to it. We appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with more Sports Church Daily on Wednesday. Thanks to Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. By the way, they sold over $20,000 worth of crawfish on Friday over at Tremonti's. What an unbelievable day it was.
We'll give you a total. We'll give you a total Wednesday morning.
All right, good. We'll tell you how many pounds of crawfish they sold just
That's
on
what
Good
I'm
Friday.
gonna have that for you Wednesday.
All right, good deal. For Tommy, I'm Ronnie. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching Sports Shorts, presented by LeBears and the Baton Rouge Rougarou.